My name's Geoff Cotton, and I've been a freelance presenter and speaker for around 15 years now. In that time, I've often been asked to coach other speakers, other presenters, on conferences, corporate videos, seminars, where I've been the lead presenter. And during those coaching sessions, I've noticed that there are many traps which we all fall into, myself included, when we're standing up here making a presentation to an audience. So I've been able to pass on some tricks of the trade, not just to avoid the traps, but also to improve the delivery of the presentation. Some of these tricks I've developed myself, some I've learnt from watching other speakers. All of them are designed to make you more competent and more confident when you're standing up here speaking to your audience. Now let me just mention that we have allowed time at the end of my talk for a question and answer session. So if a question should occur to you while I'm talking, could I ask you please just to keep it on hold until the Q&A, and I'll be very happy to take any questions which you may have at the end of my talk. The first trap which I'd like to talk about is the preparation trap. It's very tempting when we're preparing our presentation to prepare in the way which suits us best. That's to say, sitting down at our desk, head bowed over our notes, and mumbling incoherently as we desperately try to find out what we're going to say. And we will stop for every possible excuse we can find. We'll stop for emails, telephone calls, colleagues putting their head round the door, every possible reason, coffee, water, a trip to the water cooler, to the toilets, every possible reason we can find, we'll stop. The trick is to prepare in exactly the way we're going to give the presentation. That's to say, standing up, head up, speaking out against the clock, and preferably into a tape recorder. I say into a tape recorder because if you play back the tape recording of your practice session, you will be horrified. But far better that you be horrified in the privacy of your office or your home than when you're standing up here speaking to an expectant and possibly highly critical audience. The next trap I'd like to talk about is nerves. You've probably seen good presentations ruined by an attack of nerves in a good presenter. Now, I actually believe that a few butterflies are a good thing because they keep us alert, sharp, on the ball. The problem arises when those butterflies multiply and start to fly out of formation. So how can we stop those butterflies multiplying and running amok? Well, a couple of tricks. Firstly, before you go into the room itself, it is a very good idea to speak out loud the first minute of your presentation. Now, you can do this anywhere quiet, in your office, in your hotel room, in your car, or if none of those are appropriate, even in the gents or the ladies. The important thing is to hear yourself saying the first minute of your presentation, so you know what your voice is going to sound like and what you're going to say. I say the first minute because most people's anxieties center on the first minute of their presentation. Once they get through that, everything becomes easier. The audience relax, we relax because we're getting used to the situation, and this doesn't seem quite such an ordeal being up here speaking to the audience. Of course, once you're in the room, it's not generally a good idea to be seen mumbling your first minute while you're waiting to be introduced, but what you can do is make notes about your first minute and write out your first minute. It will look to the rest of the audience as if you're making notes about the previous speaker, but a word of warning, do keep an ear open for your introduction. You don't want still to be writing your introductory first minute, having been introduced and leaving an embarrassing silence. The next traps I'd like to talk about are voice traps, and in particular, how to hold the attention of the audience with just your voice, and specifically, how to avoid ever saying and ah.